Hi, Mr. Ging. I really appreciate the way that you've taken this issue and made it a humane issue, or one of humanity, since there are really truly people on both sides. I've traveled to both sides, and I truly agree that you're right. There is these issues of emotion and humanity on both sides. My concerns are these, that you've got two groups that have totally different power structures, and one has power over the other, certainly has more financial power, more economic power, more political power. And this is affecting the humanity on the ground. Second concern is the one I just wanted to clarify that Mr. I think Assad brought up about the legality of settlements. So I really do understand the humaneness of the fear of that woman as she sits in her home. I also understand that most criminals, when they're running away from the scene of a crime from the police, are probably also very afraid. My concern is, how can we equate these when I understand it's humanity, but someone's doing something that's not within the rule of law?
Well, it's actually very simple. It's very simple. I mean, there are standards there are standards that are set out there, and even if somebody has committed a crime, you can't shoot them in the back as they're running away. I mean, just as an example. Again, we have to look at this from the point of view of truly applying the rule of law in a depoliticized way. I'm pleased to see that the Foreign Minister of France, following the conflict in Gaza, set out very clearly that our failure globally to depoliticize the implementation and the upholding of international law in conflict is not just occurring in the Middle East conflict, but also if you go to the Congo, if you go to Darfur, Sri Lanka, and elsewhere. And again, we need the objectivity of those who are responsible for that. It's again about having credible, effective mechanisms. You can talk about the disproportionality of the force at the disposal of both sides, but I say to the children in our schools, the futility of force is there when you get to nuclear status. I mean, what do you do? So if the Palestinians develop a homemade rocket that is nuclear, right? If this is their ambition, how long will it take? Take a long time. But let's just say they get there. What exactly are they going to do with it? Force is not the answer. It's just not the answer. The power lies in the law. You see, the power actually lies in the law. Mr. Gandhi walked around with just a sackcloth and he brought down a whole empire. Because you have to, when you take all the force and violence out of the equation, then you strip it down to where the real power lies. And that which we, as the civilized world, have defined for so long to be the determinant, which is that which is enshrined in law, there is the power, because that is the view of the whole planet. That's what we are supposed to be held up against. It's not developed just for the Middle East or just for Africa or just for elsewhere. It's defined for the whole planet. And we need to restore that into the equation in the Middle East, and then it won't matter whether you have nuclear power as military and so on and so forth. What will matter is whether you're on the right side of the law or you're on the wrong side of the law, and we can get on then with addressing those fundamental issues against that standard, rather than having the distraction, which is a deadly distraction, from that in terms of the exchange of military, militant, whatever you want to call it, force, violence, and so on, terrorism, and so on. That's actually a big, deadly distraction from what the attention should be focused on, and again, we should all contribute to get the attention back to where it should be.
Thank you, sir, for your commitment to the people of Gaza, You probably made sacrifices and taken risks. But I would like to politely challenge your use of language today. You invited a challenge. You talked about Hamas and terrorism on that side, but I didn't hear you use the word of terrorism for what the people of Gaza experienced, and I think it would be appropriate to term what happened, to be objective and realistic and true to the facts, we would have to term Israel's behavior state terrorism, I believe. Could you respond?
Yeah. I'm very often challenged to use terms, okay, which have controversial definitions and also very controversial consequences if people in my position use that. You will notice that I didn't charge anybody with anything. I'm an official on the ground of the United Nations, and I'm bringing information to the debate, okay? And I can tell you that, and as I've said during the conflict, the people of Gaza were terrorized by their experience. Terrorized by their experience. I have said here today that the people within rocket range of Gaza are terrorized by what is coming from Gaza. That's the fact. Now, who's the terrorist and all that goes with that, that's not for me to pass judgment on. I am simply recounting to everybody what is the experience of the people on the ground on both sides, and I don't have all the answers to all the questions. This cannot be sorted out in one speech or in a couple of sound bites and so on and so forth. As I say, I came from Northern Ireland just in the last couple of days, and I met with the activists there who have dedicated their lives to getting to where they are today. And the one thing they wanted to impress on me was, it's not over. Actually, it's very hard work. It's very, very hard work. And again, the only thing that's over is the determination that it will be sorted out through politics. That debate is over. It's actually, everyone is committed to sorting it out through politics. But it's still a work in progress, and it's 1995 since the decision was made to put it into the political forum. And it's still very much challenged right now in 2009. But as I say, I'm not going to try to present myself here today as giving you the definitive definition of everything. I'm simply asking everybody here today to understand the importance of getting back to basing policy on facts, understanding the power of the rhetoric and propaganda and its devastating impact, and the need to restore justice, accountability, rule of law to this whole equation, which is applied even-handedly and objectively as everywhere else in the world. Thank you.
Today at the City Club, we have been listening to a special program featuring John Ging, Palestine Director of UNRWA, and a truly international man. Thank you, Mr. Ging, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This program is now adjourned.